Good evening. This is the organizational meeting for the Budget Finance Committee. I'm going to call this meeting to order. First off, we'll start with nominations for chairman. Do I have any nominations?
I nominate you, Bob.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? I need a motion to close nominations for chairman.
So
I move
moved.
nominations cease.
All those in favor of Bob Goslin, raise your hand. I can't see Bob Jones, but thank you. Next order of business is to approve the minutes of the April 27th, 2021 meeting. Again,
Bob, did you want to elect a vice chair?
oh yes, sorry. Any nominations for vice chair? Any nomination for vice chair? Vice chair will sit in the place of the chair if he is not available.
If you're not available and we don't have any other members, Bob, we won't have a meeting.
We're having possibly two approved next week at the select board meeting. Bob Jones, you see on the screen, is one of them.
Diana Pickavett May.
Pickavett as well.
Mhm.
So, any nominations for vice chair? I'd like to nominate Dennis Morse.
This is all new to me, Bob.
The reason why I'm here.
Yeah.
Will you accept the nomination?
Sure.
Any other nominations? Motion to close nominations.
I move nominations cease.
Thank you. All those in favor of Dennis? Any opposed? Thank you, Dennis.
Okay.
Next, I'll need from our members from last year, a motion to approve the minutes of the April 27th meeting. That was our last budget meeting prior to the town meeting.
I move acceptance of the minutes from the last meeting.
Thank you. And I will second that. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Just so you understand how the process works, tonight we'll have a hearing of sorts and the presentation of the budget. After this meeting, after our other findings meeting, any questions you have need to be funneled through the chair, so that there won't be 5 different people asking the same question. We try to consolidate the questioning, and I'll route that to where it needs to be, and then I'll collectively to the team send out a message on the findings. So again, don't self-communicate with members of either the town hall or select board. Come to me first, and I will funnel it to where it needs to go. Are there any questions?
I have one, and that is when we just voted to accept the minutes of the last meeting, they're not in this budget committee report, this budget report, right?
No, they were sent as an attachment.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go back and
Mhm.
I'm working with 2 different emails now, and some of it's going to junk, so I'll check it out. Thank you.
Thank you. Sue,
Mhm.
Abigail asked about a town email address.
Yes, I have sent a note to Kevin Woodbury, our tech, and he is in the process of trying to do that for all committee members.
Okay.
So as soon as we have one, I'll get it sent out to you. Because it is preferable to use town email for freedom of access requests. We don't want to go after your personal email if we don't have to.
Mhm.
We also don't get a lot of requests, but you just never know.
Any other notes? Any other comments? Tonight, we will be getting back together at 6:30,
Mhm.
where we will have the findings meeting. And we'll have Don open it up with a brief overview. And then
I think we're gonna open with Sharice, I think, talking a little bit about the restructuring of the budget, and then Don, but I can introduce that if you'd like.
Is there any other comment from the Budget Finance Committee?
Can I just ask like some basic, I've never done this before questions?
Okay,
So we're gonna have this next meeting. At that meeting, we're gonna like review what was in the budget book.
that's correct.
And then do we ask questions that we have during that meeting, or like what is the format of what happens in that? And then do we just basically go through like multiple meetings of doing that until we've gone through the whole binder?
That's correct. It
Okay.
should take 2 meetings to go through all our department heads and provider agencies. And then we'll have a workshop with the select board to kind of talk about these items, hot spots, areas of concern, so that, when it comes time to make a vote, we'll have everything we have in our pocket.
And on a really high level, now you'll have the department heads right there where you can ask some questions about what you've seen in the book. And that's the next 2 meetings. And like Bob said, there's a workshop. After that, the select board will put together the town warrant for that will be voted upon. And once they've made their recommendations, you'll get together again, go over the warrant and make your recommendations, whether you think things should be, as the select board say, or less.
Thank you.
So feel free to ask any questions to presenters this evening. And so that we don't wait to have to communicate by email, but feel free to
How
ask your questions.
detailed can those questions be? Like, I just don't want to be like the odd kid out asking like super detailed questions or like super dumb questions. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yep. You'll learn as
Okay.
we go along. So don't you can ask whatever questions you want tonight. So,
Well, that brings another question up then. Is there a time, do they set a timetable on these meetings? I know when select board used to meet with us about our cover letter or our whatever, PowerPoint presentation, there would be a timetable. In other words, is it our meetings? Is it a 6:30 to 7:30 meeting, Bob? Or is it, do we pick halfway through the budget and the chair of the select board decides the length of the meeting? How does that timetable work? Because like Abigail, you know me long enough. I have 50 questions for every one answer. So I'm trying really hard to come in here and be quiet, but the reality is there's a lot of questions that are involved with running the town in the budget process, especially if there's only 3 meetings.
Mhm.
Is there a timetable? Do they
No,
actually
there
set?
there is no time limitation. I suppose if somebody started going on, it is the chair's prerogative to say, no, I think we've killed that horse. But that very rarely happens.
Okay.
But it is Bob's meeting. It's a budget finance committee meeting.
Oh, so Bob runs the meeting, not the select board.
That's correct. Sometimes, though, I think for certain pieces, Bob, you've handed it over to the select board chair to run,
Right.
like public safety, maybe. There have been times when you've done that, but not always.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before we go?
So Abigail, I'll ask a question. Do you have a copy of the schedule, the meeting schedule? Do you have a copy of that? Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I've looked over the sections that are on the agenda for
Agenda
tonight.
for tonight. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
except I didn't have emergency public. So didn't have one tab that I thought maybe was supposed to be in there.
Yeah, that's a there used to be a operating budget for emergency management, and I think that was primarily to back when the pandemic, and I may be speaking out of turn, and maybe Kathy can help us out here, but public safety used to have their own operating budget to track COVID or pandemic-related expenses. So I know we're nearing, hopefully nearing the end of the pandemic, and I believe that's what that's all about.
Okay,
So there
I
is
just-
no tab, but they can speak
Okay.
to that when
Great.
their turn is up.
just was checking that I
Yeah.
didn't need to cram.
I don't see any other questions. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You, Dennis? Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Very good. I will see you in about 20 minutes.
Same log on?
There's a separate one to log into this.
Okay, I gotta go back on the internet now, go on to my
I'm s-
computer, figure out which one that